I got the first letter on my 18th birthday. It arrived in a cream-colored envelope, with no return address, no name, just my name, handwritten in delicate cursive. The stamp was slightly crooked. The paper smelled faintly of lavender and old books. Inside was a single sheet, folded twice. Happy birthday, Theo. You don't know me yet, but you will. One day, when the time is right. Until then, keep listening to the rain. Yours, always. I thought it was a prank. My sister denied it. My best friend laughed it off. My mom raised an eyebrow but said nothing. I kept it in a shoebox. A year passed. Then, on my 19th birthday, another letter. Same handwriting. Same scent. You looked so tired this year. Please rest more. And that song you played on the piano last Thursday? It made me cry. I hadn't told anyone I played piano at all, let alone that I composed something that night. That's when I stopped laughing. I started waiting. Year after year, the letters came. Always on my birthday. Always in the same handwriting. Always impossibly specific. Like someone had been watching me quietly, gently, without judgment. By my 22nd birthday, I had a collection. She wrote about the smallest things, how I hesitated before hugging someone, how I left a flower on my neighbor's doorstep when their cat died, how I always looked up when it rained, but never used an umbrella. She never asked for anything in return. She never revealed her name. She never told me how she knew me so well. And God help me, I fell in love with her. Not in the foolish, desperate way I used to fall for girls in school, but in a quiet, bone-deep kind of way. A slow ache. Like a song you hum every night without realizing it's become your favorite. I told no one. It felt like cheating on real life. Then, on my 25th birthday, the letter was different. No perfume. No warmth. Just 6 words, printed cleanly in the center of the page. This is the last one. Goodbye. No explanation. No signature. No more letters. I waited the next year. Nothing. And the next? Still nothing. But I never stopped thinking about her, or who she might be, or what kind of love hides behind silence and paper. After that final letter, something shifted in me. I tried to carry on like nothing had changed. But I started checking the mailbox every morning, even on days that weren't my birthday. I lingered longer at bookstores, even the park bench near the old piano shop downtown, as if some invisible thread was pulling me somewhere, or to someone. I wanted answers. Or maybe I just wanted her back. One rainy Thursday afternoon, I found myself at a used bookshop I'd never noticed before. It was tucked between a florist and a boarded-up laundromat, one of those blink and do miss it places. The bell above the door jingled as I stepped in. The air was thick with dust and jasmine, and there she was. Or at least, I thought it was her. A girl in a red coat stood by the poetry shelf. She had soft brown hair tucked into a knitted hat, and she was holding a book ID. Just been thinking about that. Morning letters to a young poet. Coincidence? Maybe. But something about her posture, the curve of her wrist, the way she tilted her head, it all felt familiar. She looked up, and in that second, I felt like someone had knocked the wind out of me. She smiled small, knowing, and tucked the book under her arm. I wanted to speak, ask her name, ask if she liked the rain. If she ever watched someone play piano through a window and cried without knowing why. But I hesitated. And she walked past me, out the door, the little bell chiming once, as it closed behind her. I chased her out, but she was already gone. No trace, no footprints on the wet sidewalk, like she had vanished into the rain. That night, I went through every letter again. I read them slowly, like decoding a map, looking for something I had missed. A clue. a name, a single thread to follow. And I found it. On the back of the very first envelope, vint, almost invisible under the flap, were two initials. Ill. That tiny detail sparked something. I remembered a girl named Ellie from high school. Quiet, always in the library. We'd spoken maybe twice, once during a group project, once during a fire drill when we both forgot our jackets. I never thought about her again. Until now. I searched online. Found nothing. I called the school. She'd transferred junior year. Dead end. But it didn't feel like the end. It felt like I had opened a door just a crack. And beyond it was a story still waiting to be told. That night, I wrote a letter. Dear El, I don't know if you'll ever see this, but thank you. You taught me how to feel seen without ever being in the room. If you're still out there, I hope you're listening to the rain too. I folded it carefully, slipped it into an envelope, and left it at the used bookstore behind Letters to a Young Poet. Just in case. Weeks passed. I told myself I wasn't waiting, but I still passed by the bookstore almost every day. Sometimes I'd go in, pretend to browse, run my fingers along the spine of Letters to a Young Poet, hoping maybe the envelope I left would be gone. But it never moved. And neither did she. Until one Tuesday. I walked in, and the old man behind the counter waved me over. This yours? He asked, holding up a small brown package. No return address. No name. Just the O written across it in the same familiar script I hadn't seen in years. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a notebook. Soft leather cover, worn edges. It smelled faintly of lavender and something like old cedar. Inside were pages of handwriting. Her handwriting. It wasn't a letter. It was a journal. The first page read, I never meant to disappear. I just wanted you to know you mattered. I thought I'd write once, maybe twice, but then I couldn't stop. I flipped through, heart pounding. She had written about everything. Moments I'd forgotten. Moments I thought no one else saw. She wrote about how she passed me in the hallway senior year, how she watched me fall asleep on the bus, how she saw me leave flowers at a stranger's grave once and never told a soul. She remembered it all. And then, one page. I couldn't stay. Back then, I didn't think I was worth being known. I thought watching you live was enough. But I was wrong. The next page held only this. I am at the cafe on 6th and Holloway Saturdays. Around 4 p.m. if you want to say hello, come find me. My breath caught. That was today. I ran. The cafe was warm, quiet, light spilled in from tall windows. A violinist played something soft near the counter. My eyes scanned the tables and then I saw her, sitting by the window, a red coat draped over the back of her chair, a book in her hands. She looked up and smiled. No surprise, no drama, just the kind of smile you give someone you've waited years to see again. I walked over. Is this seat taken? She shook her head. It never was. We sat. We talked about everything and nothing. It felt like turning pages of a book we both already knew. And when the rain began to fall outside, she leaned closer. You still listen to the rain? Only when I miss you, I said. She didn't respond. She just reached across the table, took my hand, and held it like she'd done it 1,000 times before. Sometimes, love doesn't arrive all at once. Sometimes it sends you letters. One a year. Until you're ready to read them with your whole heart. And when you finally do, it doesn't feel like finding someone new. It feels like coming home.